I'm between you and some food, so hopefully we'll keep this shortish and you can help pump my bags and we can all go home happy. So the title of this presentation is Double Happiness. So I'm going to start at a macro level and talk about debt and AI, and then zoom all the way down to the micro where I give a very, very short chill of why I fucking love Filecoin. All right. So again, to remind everyone, this is sort of my broad crypto framework about what the value of crypto represents, and that's fiat liquidity and technology. Now, over the past, over about a decade, right, we've had bull markets in one of the two of these factors, whether it's fiat liquidity or some technological aspect of the ecosystem that we all fall in love with for 1 to 2 years before we don't like it anymore and the fucking shit goes down 99%. So it's very rare, we haven't had this yet, where we get a bull market in both of these facets. And I want to describe now why I believe the next bull run that I think will start probably now and into the early 2024 is going to be the biggest bull market in not only crypto, but in risk assets ever since the end of World War II and the Great Depression. So at a fundamental level, what is gross domestic product, or GDP? I took this from Raoul Pal, population growth, productivity, and debt. I want to focus on babies, so population and demographics, and debt, which is money printing, which we're all very familiar with. So, very blanket statement here. Rich people don't have a lot of kids. There's various reasons for why that's happening, but if you take a look at this amazing chart here, we're actually going into a deficit of human population growth when you take a look at the developed economies and the very large economies of China, Brazil, and Russia. And that presents a very big problem because at the end of the day, we borrow from the future, we build things today, and we hope that we're going to fill up that growth with extra humans out there who are going to have economic activity. So when you're not having enough babies, who's going to power that growth to pay back the debt? So what have central banks and governments come up with as a solution to the fact that as they've gotten wealthier and we left the farm and we went into our concrete shoeboxes called apartments and cities, that we don't have enough kids? So how do we keep GDP growth growing so that anyone who's issued debt or the banks that run the fractional fiat financial system can stay solvent? We print money. And ever since 1970, this is a graph from the World Bank on global debt to GDP, we've gone from 110% to 360%. And the worst part about this chart is not just the absolutely horrendously high 360%, but look at how we're accelerating. It took us 10 years ago, 100% increase. It took us only 2, which is COVID, to go from 250% to 360%. We are in the late stages of a debt doom loop on a global perspective. Every single country has their own specific reasons why their debt is unsustainable. But at a global level, we can see that we have accelerating debt issuance to compensate for growth that just is not there. Come on. All right. So to focus on the United States, and a lot of my writing is on the US, even though we're sitting here in Singapore. Again, we're on a dollar standard. Most countries' monetary policy is a reflection of what goes on in America, so I do spend a lot of time talking about the Federal Reserve and financial policy. So this is a very scary chart if you are a US Treasury bondholder. And this is basically the maturity profile of US debt. And what we can see here is that by 2026, the US has to roll over almost $8 trillion worth of bonds. They have to find somebody who is willing to take this debt at whatever the prevailing yields are in the market. Now, if you think about it, if the whole world has this problem of we have too much debt and not enough population growth, and the largest issuer of debt has to issue $8 trillion, how are they going to do it? Who's going to buy all this debt? And if you want to think about, you have China, you have Japan, they also have the same issue. And that not only does not account for the amount of debt that the government itself needs to issue itself to fund itself. So what do governments do when they have a bunch of debt that needs to be issued and nobody around that actually wants to acquire it at a yield that's affordable? They print money. And so if I think about the fiat liquidity situation from a global perspective, and and a US perspective as the reserve currency issuer, this is going to be the biggest bull market and issuance of money that we've ever seen, because this market is the largest it's ever been globally, and we just don't have the people here that want to buy this stuff at these yields. All right, so moving on from the fiat side, let's take a look at technology. So what is the dominant theme today? It's AI, 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 AI. I was at a lunch yesterday that Penga put on, a bunch of global asset managers, family offices, sovereign wealth folks, and we all went around the table and we said, what's our highest conviction idea or theme? I'd say 75% of people mentioned something about AI. This is the trend, right? In 2000, it was the internet's going to take over the world. There's always a thing. And in 1929, it was radios. It's been railroads. Like every cycle, we all focus on some new technology that's going to completely change the human experience. AI is no different because of how pervasive computers are and how fast we've upgraded human civilization since the mainframe computer and internet has been invented. You can understand why investors are so focused on what AI can do. When the computers can think for themselves, what can happen with our civilization, right? And so we have, this chart here, some, tens of trillions of dollars of value that's going to be created by AI. ChatGPT, right? The standout story of the last sort of 6 months. Fastest adopted piece of technology ever in human history, right? And this is the chart. I'm sure there's other ones that show different pieces of technology versus ChatGPT, and it's a standout, right? It's why OpenAI is worth so much money. It's why all these startups are saying we're going to pull an LLM model on some particular part of the economy and thus drive savings and some sort of productivity increase for the companies using our product. All right, so what does that mean? The AI stock of the moment is Nvidia. Since ChatGPT was launched as a thing that we could consume publicly, Nvidia is almost up 200%. And that's pretty astonishing given how large of a market cap Nvidia already was before this invention came out. Also, I didn't put a chart up here, but Nvidia trades at 100 times earnings, which is absolutely absurd if you think about it. On a 5 to 10 year horizon, how much money does Nvidia have to make for it to grow into the valuation currently? Now, some would say this is a bubble, and I would agree, but I think it's going to get even worse and even more ridiculous in terms of how much people are willing to pay in terms of price over earnings for anything deemed AI. So back to the formula. We have a bull market in fiat liquidity driven by no kids and a lot of debt. We have a bull market in tech driven by AI. I've written a few essays trying to connect crypto and AI, and at a fundamental level, I believe in AI is its own type of economic unit and person, if you want to personify it, that does not care about human laws and regulations because the government, which deals in violence, cannot kill an AI. Yes, you can try to eradicate computers and all that, but that would almost sort of eradicate the society in and of itself if you take away the connectivity that we have. So I argue that it's almost impossible for a government, a singular government, to unilaterally punish an AI, and therefore AIs will create decentralization and the base attributes that crypto offers. So when we put together these two bull markets, I call it double happiness. We're going to get tech and fiat as a reason why we should own crypto. All right. What does an AI need to eat? An AI needs compute power, and an AI needs data storage. These are the two things. When I think about my portfolio and how I want to run Maelstrom, my family office, and we want to get into AI, I understand that I'm already too late in the game to invest in some sort of startup that's coming up today. I'm not going to get liquidity by 2026 or 2027, whether that's a token where I'm unlocked or it's an IPO window because it takes 5 to 7 years for a company to mature to be able to offer itself. So I need to find things that can be used for these food groups today. Now, I could just buy Nvidia at 100 times earnings, fuck that. Or I could think about data storage and how there is possibly a crypto angle. So let's focus there. So some of you in this room are VCs. I wouldn't say that you're Muppets, but the people who put their money with you are probably Muppets. So what's going to happen? a bunch of VC firms are going to go out there and say, I'm going to do an AI fund, right? Because you need a new fund, got to have management fees and all that kind of shit, right? And then they're going to turn around and they're going to seed hundreds of billions of dollars into anything with AI on a pitch deck. And then these startups are going to get all this money. What are they going to do with the money? They're going to go out and buy GPUs and cloud storage, right? So if I want to profit off of the AI mania, I want to be where the money is going. The money is going in these two food groups because without any of these things, whatever AI solution you claim to offer is going to essentially be dead in the water. Here's a chart of estimated AI data usage up and to the right, $500 billion industry, blah, blah, blah. Not very controversial here. But why does AI need decentralized storage, right? Shouldn't I just buy Amazon if I believe that AIs are going to use a lot of data storage? Well, from an AI's perspective, they're not human, right? And you have this organization, as you put your data with a centralized company, which can shut you off because the government told it to, can change its pricing whenever it wants because it's their data center. They can abrogate a contract whenever they like. What's an AI going to do? It's going to go to court and sue somebody? Hire a human lawyer and spend $2,000 an hour for a bunch of no-name associates to go sue somebody? It's not going to happen. An AI is going to crave, from a fundamental level, a decentralized storage opportunity. So now I need a shitcoin. I've got this macro thesis. I want a listed token so I can buy it and sell it today. I don't want to be locked up for months or years. I want this thing to have completely shit the bed, down greater than 90% from the 2021 all-time high. Why do I want that? Because I want protection, right? Okay, I want the most motivated sellers to have already sold everything so that when this thing starts rising potentially, it has a lot of room to grow, and from a low level, it doesn't take that much of effort in terms of money coming in the system for this thing to go up 10 or 20x. And that it needs to be related to an AI food group. Filecoin is just such a fucking shitcoin. This thing is down 99 motherfucking percent from 300 to I think it's trading around $3 right now. But people are still using it. There's data on the Falcoin network. There are real clients, and I'll talk about 2 of them in a second, that are actually using this thing. Lots of room to grow. AWS is obviously by and far away the winner, but they're a centralized solution. There is a market for decentralized storage to grow into if the end customer values the things that decentralization brings to their data, their protection, all the things I talked about. So I'm an investor in a Filecoin sealing platform called Seal Storage, and they are helping bring the large data users onto the Falcoin network. They have a project called Atlas, which is a data project by CERN, the particle accelerator in Europe. They are using Seal to help them reduce their data costs, and Seal's in turn earning Falcoin rewards by putting this data on the network. UC Berkeley is also using Seal to do something similar. Seal also has projects with NASA and a few other universities in the United States. So I have a minute left here. I hope I've given a very short overview of why I think Falcoin is going to pump. And I've got bags. Not only do I have a mining bag, I've got token bags. Hopefully you guys can help me pump them further. Now, before I finish, I have 2 other public service announcements. Obviously, I still am a board member and large shareholder of BitMEX, the derivatives exchange. We just launched some prediction markets that clients can engage in some interesting if-then sort of bets on the market. Those just launched this afternoon. And more importantly for your party health, I hope to see everyone at the party tonight in Sentosa. Wear your best swim gear. We're going to have a fucking rave. Thank you, everybody.